every morning.
Come on, bro.
Guys, welcome to another video, guys. Today we have Chris. We're going to be doing interviews, one of our funded traders in our group. We've done it for a couple of years now, but he recently joined our group about 6 months ago, and now he's funded. Chris, how you doing today, bro?
All good, man. How are you both?
We're doing good, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? We're doing good. Tell us a bit about yourself, man. So what are you doing right now? What's your job? What were you doing before trading, before entrepreneurship? Yeah, literally.
So I've been in the entrepreneurship space for about 3 years now, full time for 2.5 years, just as an investor in different projects, different things. Was heavy in the network marketing space before, and I just wanted to get into trading because I feel like the freedom, it brings. For me, that's priceless. Having your own clock kind of thing. And just being free, man. That's why I wanted to get into trading. Obviously, it's really good money, but the freedom mostly, man. The freedom.
100%, literally. Obviously, it's one of them ones, isn't it? Like where obviously you starting to trade, obviously we were there and kind of the beginning of your journey, but we wasn't necessarily working together. It was just cool. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, we definitely noticed in you something similar in us as like the work ethic and actually the want for it and the drive for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Where would you say that comes from?
It's a good question because I don't actually know. I just feel like some people have just got it. I think some people just have that hunger and that drive. But definitely for me, it's come as of recent in definitely, wanting to retire my parents because my dad recently was unwell and hasn't been able to actually do his job for 6 months. So being at home with him has definitely made me realize a lot about the corporate world as well. I obviously knew that before, but this has just really made me realize. And I just want to be the backbone for my family, really. And I just have the hunger and desire to just, in a way, just, prove everyone wrong and prove myself right, man. That's what kind of fuels me every day. I'd say just that dedicated side to me, to be honest.
Appreciate the transparency for sure. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's great to hear, especially that you've got a touching goal, because I do believe that can help you strive to success. So one question that I did want to ask you is, our goal, of course, within the 1% is to make people eventually become an independent trader. So ever since joining the 1%, how do you feel like your trading has changed, both in the trading side and the psychology side?
Yeah, I'd say a big part of the industry is the fact that I feel every strategy works, but I just feel like it's a certain psychology that gets applied to each strategy, which makes it work. There's a lot of basic institutional knowledge out there, especially from what I've seen, knowing the industry for a while, and I'm sure you boys have obviously seen that as well. But I think your information is as defined as it can be, in terms of really understanding why losses happen and why wins happen. I feel like a lot of the time when I was trading before, I was losing and I didn't know why, and I was winning and I didn't know why. So without that clarity, it's hard to stay truly consistent. Because you boys have definitely promote that consistency side of the trading, from the knowledge. And also in terms of the psychology, I'd say seeing two people that are doing it full time is a big part, because when you're in the space, it works, but it's hard. It works, but the belief in like that. What would you say? Bro?
The physical proof.
Yeah. It's like, it's not that you don't know it works, because it works, but it's like to see the physical proof of people doing it and actually living their life in terms of actually trading, living their lives a certain way in terms of not being dedicated to just stick it, not being glued to the charts, and stuff like that. It just makes you think bigger. Like for example, like myself, this week I hit my percentage, and then I was cool with just not trading for the rest of the week. Whereas before, or if I was going to trade, which I have added another trade, but I've used less risk. So for me, like before, I wouldn't do that, because I would just think about what's the most I can make. I feel like the biggest thing that you boys have definitely preached upon me is every time you get into a trade, you're at a potential loss, not potential win. So knowing that when you risk the money, you're risking to gain, but that in your head, the initial thought shouldn't be, what am I going to gain? It's going to be, what am I going to lose?
The risk kind of thing.
Yeah. And that obviously makes you a lot more precautious. So yeah, I'd say that's been a big part to my psychology, definitely. And little things as well, little challenges that you make the group do and stuff. Like the what's it called, man?
The homeworks.
Yeah, homeworks.
What's the it's just gone out of my head. What's the thing called when you're doing all the challenges every day?
At the polls.
No.
Backtesting.
No. Sorry, boys. I've literally gone out of my head. Where you meditate, read.
Oh, E60.
E60. Yeah. So even just little things like that, just to get my mind stuff up.
Yeah, bro. You said something very interesting. It's kind of a spontaneous question, but obviously, like you said before, you had struggled with wanting to trade more. Do you know what I'm saying? Now that you're funded, obviously, you found it pretty easy to step away from the market and also make an adjustment that if you are going to trade, risk less. Would you say that's because you kind of know that you now have capital? Obviously, not to go too much in your personals, but we know that your businesses are also doing well at the same time as you getting funded. Like, life is going great for you right now. Is it because you don't necessarily need the money? Would you say that's why you're finding it more easier to your psychology?
I wouldn't even say it's that, because I still have the tendency to make a certain amount and then still think that I need more. So I'd say that plays a part, knowing that you just have the kind of financial backing behind the patience of it. Because when you've got people telling you grow £100 account, or £1,000 account, when you look at the big picture, looks so far away. But when you got a big account already, there's even making 1% is, in the grand scheme, massive. So yeah, that definitely helps. And obviously doing other things outside of trading has allowed me to have, because you're not just relying on it, kind of thing.
By the way, guys, listen, I definitely recommend check out his Instagram. You know what I'm saying? He's doing big things, definitely help motivate you, inspire you. You know what I'm saying? Now that you are funded, bro, obviously cap up for you for getting funded. You know what I'm saying? What are your goals now, bro? You're funded, bro. Actually deep it. You are a funded trader. You're actually certified. Anyone that doubted your skill level can't doubt it no more. You essentially have a degree for trading, bro. What's your goals now? What are you trying to do, bro? You have capital, you have access, your business is doing well. You can now fund different things. You have more free time, of course, less stress in life. What is your goals, bro?
It's mad, because you'd think I would know, but I haven't actually really thought about it, other than, just the little goals, certain materialistic things you might want. But genuinely the biggest thing for me is being in that position where, like I said at the start, obviously the big reason why I've been so dedicated to making this work, or just being an entrepreneur in general and aiming for a certain amount in general, is obviously because I do want to be the focal point and like the backbone in my family, and the person that, if there's ever money problems, it's cool. That for me has always been a real driving factor for me. But in terms of, do you mean just what I want to spend the money on, or
bro, whatever, bro? What's your goal? What are you doing next, bro? In terms of, let's do this, right? What are you going to do next in terms of, you have to tell us what business we're going to invest in, or what your goal is with that money, what you're going to do is move into the location, to network, or it may be. So one smart thing and maybe one dumb thing, what you going to little liability.
All right, cool. So I'm very, very, very keen. What'd you say, boy? What'd you say?
Maybe a rollie or something, you know what I'm saying?
Obviously, in terms of the dumb things, I'm due to get this car that I've wanted for a while. I'm going to Dubai in a month, so I'm going to wait until I get back from there to get it. But that will obviously be one thing. Obviously, the watches, I know we're trying to get stuff. But in terms of the good things, I've been very keen on real estate and stuff, but I do want to do it properly. I feel like when you're doing it properly, you obviously need the capital. So definitely putting my money into different avenues. The thing is, you need money to make money. So at the end of the day, I'm just really just prioritizing. I know I've said I want the dumb things, but just trying to still stack as much as possible to go and put money into different investments, different avenues. That I think bring me peace. I feel like this is going to bring me peace in my life.
Thanks, bro. I definitely give you that a testament in terms of your credibility, in terms of like, you've always asked us in terms of how to spend your money, how to use your money, what to do. And like, you've been very clear with your plans, you know what I'm saying? I definitely, you know, want to let everybody watching this know that, listen, Chris is doing his thing, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, bro, you didn't even say, what was you doing before you started entrepreneurship and trading, bro?
In all honesty, if I'm being completely transparent, just in case there is someone watching this that, you know, feels like they are the same and can be open and honest about it, I was definitely a bum, like, or doing a lot of bummy things. Didn't really, I was playing football, like quite a good semi-professional level, but never really had the drive to go. I was never gonna make it in football. I knew that deep down. My delusion eventually went away, because at the end of the day, my delusion eventually, you know, went away with that, because with anything, like when I look at the time I've put into business and trading, and I compare that to my football journey, you know, it's nowhere near. So anyone that is just in that position, I was working at JD Sports as well, which obviously you both would have known. I was there. I worked in a few different retail spots. I then went to an estate agent company before I started entrepreneurship 3 years ago. I was on like £500 a month, you know, plus commission. Most I ever made was like £900, and that was like 1 month. So I wasn't doing well, and I was just very stuck.
I had like your first 5-figure month, right? Through your business and everything combined, like literally. You know what I'm saying? Like
the tax man's listening, bro.
But one thing I would like to just say is, give yourself a bit more credit. But the reason why I say this is because, bro, I've seen your whole journey from when you started trading to now. And I've seen you develop pretty much from a boy to a man. Mentally, not just mentally, physically as well. You've been helping people as well, and you've grown. And of course, that's now therefore resulted in you getting funded, and not just funded. You've got other businesses that is giving you a very good income. So one thing I'll definitely say, give yourself credit. And that's one thing that I believe with successful individuals is the hunger, the determination, and the resilience that we therefore have. They're never giving up. We don't let a setback determine our future, if that makes sense. We just go, we manage to come over it, if that makes sense. So one thing that I wanted to ask you is, of course, before being funded, what would you say was the most beneficial thing within the 1% that led to you or helped you get in funding?
The most beneficial thing would definitely be the overview course. That was a big part of it. Because I think a big thing is that you promote education over obviously, because your market is people that are obviously just coming solely to learn how to trade. But the fact that you're not dropping in your own signals and stuff like that, it comes to the point where you can't actually it comes to the point where obviously we can't rely on you. So you have to go out of your way to do certain things. But I very, very rarely missed an overview or anything, like your 9 p.m. calls. And if I did, I'd watch it the next morning. But I'd say that obviously the big thing for me as well is the fact that because I was doing this full time, as in I'm at home, a home business owner full time. That obviously played a big part, because if I missed the call, next morning I was watching it and then getting on with my day and my other businesses and stuff. But yeah, I'd say the overviews were great. I didn't do many one-to-ones. I should have done more one-to-ones with you guys, but they obviously, and the transparency that I feel like I was able to give you guys as well was a big part, because a lot of people,
100%, 100%.
A lot of people in this industry, obviously, they don't want to be fully transparent. But if you've got people helping you there, that at the end of the day, it's important to be transparent, because,
everybody watching this, what Chris is saying is a very big gem. Like, he was very transparent with us, his wins, his losses, where his mental was. And that allows us to help him. You know what I'm saying? If you're hiding what's going wrong, your mentor can't help you. No one can help you. You know what I'm saying?
And just to add on to that, that's one thing I always say, coming into this industry, we have to put our ego away. Listen, you're going at the beginning of your journey, you will make a lot of losses. It's part of it. When you learn, it's like learning a new language. When you learn a new language at the beginning, of course, it's difficult. So the same with trading, when you come into a new industry, you are going to make a lot of losses. But that's where now you need to be able to put your ego away and therefore be transparent with your mentor. You don't need to put it in a group chat if you don't want to. You can private message your mentor or whoever it is to therefore seek for help. And that's what Chris therefore did. And of course, that's what has resulted in him striving to success and of course, him getting funded. So that's why I always give credit back to you, Chris, because you was honest with yourself. You was truthful to yourself. You didn't lie to yourself. And that's the most important aspect, being truthful to yourself. So credit to that, bro.
Last two questions, bro. I'll take too much of your time, of course. First question is this, bro. People watching this, bro, of course, they're watching it because they want to get funded or they want to use the capital that they do have, but they're scared to risk it because they're not necessarily consistent. For you personally, going from that journey of literally knowing nothing to knowing everything, but not being consistent to being consistent and now being funded, what would your advice be, bro? Like, what would you tell maybe your past self or anyone like that, bro? What would your advice be, bro?
I'd say one thing I realized, right? Because when I was, I filed a few funded accounts before passing, but I didn't tell you boys about every one of them, but you knew about, you knew about, you know, the one. I'm joking. I'm playing. But yeah, like obviously, I'd say I had obviously an over leveraging problem earlier in my time and an over trading problem. I'd say, you know, as of more recent over the last 8 months before I come funded, and I actually looked into this heavy on the reason why people do it. And a lot of the reasons why people overtrade, over leverage when it comes to trading and don't have the patience that is required is because of lack of self-worth and lack of an insecurity. So obviously you asked what would my advice be, right, to people? Yeah, that was, I don't want to feel like I'm going off topic there. Yeah, just to make sure. Yeah, so lack of self-worth and insecurity, because I feel like with trading, especially with now, you know that you can get funded, there's no real rush. Like there's actually no real rush. So if you're trying to rush it, it's because you don't actually think like you do deserve to make that kind of money. I feel like if you actually said to yourself, you know what, in 1 year, like I will be 100K funded, for example, I'm good. Like that year has to be dedicated to learning and just being patient. Because otherwise, what happens is when you don't have that clear vision, I feel like what for me was really important, and the advice I'd give is having that clear vision. I knew that obviously I want to do X, Y, and Z with my other businesses, which will give me the patience to then do X, Y, and Z with trading. Because I'll have the money behind me and the backing behind me, and then trading will take me to, you know, the big financial goals that I want. And because I didn't take a funded account for like 4 months, I think, or 5 months since the last one I showed you. Since the last one I showed you, boys. Yeah, I didn't take one for 4 or 5 months. I was just jumping on the calls, really just working on my mind, my mindset. Working on my mindset, just trying to get my money up outside of trading. But still every day, like jumping on the charts as if I was trading. Like I feel like that's a big thing as well. Getting into the routine of what it will be like when you are trading full time. That's what I've done for about 2 months as well. I was jumping on London and I was jumping on New York every day, even though I weren't actually trading, or it would be on a demo or just on a burner account that I didn't care about. I was still doing that. And documenting as well. Documenting is really important. Something that I don't do enough of. Sometimes I don't do it, in all honesty, but it's so important. And when I do it, I sit there and I think like, you know what, like this is important. This is why this happened. This is why that happened. So I'd say the biggest advice I don't want to ramble on too much, but the biggest advice definitely would be the patience side of it. Like, if you know that the end result is funded, you don't have to rush the process. You don't have to over leverage. Like, learn from these mistakes, because when you over leverage and win, you don't even feel good anyway. So it's like there's literally no point doing it. You don't even feel good. You just have a relief of anxiety, you know. So the patience and investing in your education, definitely. Investing in your education, even if you don't get the right advice or you don't think the course is good enough, like, stop trying to get shit for free. You know, just actually put your money where your mouth is, and set a plan in place, I'd say, of a year to 2 years time. It has to be a long time frame. Otherwise, you want to give yourself the time to make mistakes, make errors, and relieve the pressure from you. For sure.
Thanks, bro. Last question is, bro, those first profits on your funded account, man, how do they make you feel, bro? How do they make you feel, man?
Well,
that moment, bro.
yeah. Well, you know, because I called you straight away. So I called you. Yeah, I called you. Yeah, I made 3%, and it's like, even I'll share this because, like, just for yeah, it's like I had to just quickly click settings to see if it said live or not, just to make sure I weren't bugging, man. Because
It made me laugh when you called, when you told me you was walking up and down, you didn't even know what to do. That's when I knew to really hit. But
the craziest thing, like, sorry, but I don't mean to cut you up. The craziest thing is, like, it's not even a massive amount of percentage. That obviously I only got 3%, and my target. Well, obviously that's good, but, like, in terms of the grand scheme of things, like, you know, if you're aiming for 10% a month, if you've got 3% and you're still getting gassed, then I think, like, that just shows, like, what this can really do. You know, that you don't need to go and do the most and make, you know, over leverage, all of that stuff that I was saying before. But just the feeling of when I closed the trade and it was just there, there's a sense of, you know, yeah, I need this forever kind of thing. And it's crazy because I'll share this with you guys. But obviously I was on the sofa. Like I said, my dad's obviously at home with me at the moment. So my dad was on the other sofa. I've said, Dad, put your glasses, come over here. Yeah. And I've showed him my phone, and he's just looking at the phone, because this is for anyone as well that has people, maybe parents or friends that don't really get the vision, you know, and might put you down. You know, they might not mean it, but, you know, they moralize you sometimes. My dad has done that, but it was a good feeling doing this, and this is why I done it. Obviously I told him to come over, put his glasses on, and, you know, see what I made, kind of thing. And like, he was I don't know if I say the amount, you're gonna blur. Should I say the amount, or you're gonna blur it out on the
you don't have to. It's up to you. Not to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, obviously he was like to me, "Oh, you've made one and a half grand." Like, I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "But you've been sitting on the sofa." I was like,
literally.
I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, no." Obviously, yeah. What'd you say, bro?
It's like that now. You got them.
Yeah.
Like that now.
Obviously, I told them like that I was doing this, and I did pass my funded, but even that, they still don't get it, you know, and then when they physically see it, it's just a good feeling, physically showing someone, you know, and just proving yourself right, but, you know, proving people wrong, actually physically doing it. And that satisfaction for me, I'll be honest, I was in tears about it, just because of the fact of, like, being in business, and anyone that is in entrepreneurship and, you know, has setbacks and has people doubt them, and you know, you can only see your vision, no one else can see it, you know, all these. And when it finally, you feel like it is finally coming into fruition, you know, it's obviously a very relieving feeling. So yeah, I just thought in my head, I better not lose this, because I got to request my payout at the end.
Literally, just to add on, like, you know how you close that trade is like all that years of hard work, resilience, persistence, sweat and tears, the cries that people don't see, that hard work, the doubt, the losses, all of that. That one win has now made it all worth it.
Yeah,
And
well,
now
let me just add on something to that as well, please, bro, if that's all right. Like, obviously, as well, like, you know, someone was like to me, oh, I think it was my dad or it was my mum. They said, like, how long did that take? And I said it took me 3 years.
Bro,
Thank you.
do you know what I'm
That's what
saying?
we always
In
preach.
3 years.
Honest truth.
And she
What's the
was like,
saying?
no, I
Like,
meant like, how long was the trade lasting? I was like, took me 3 years. It don't matter how long the trade lasted 5 minutes, but it took me 3 years. Huh?
bro, like, they always say you don't get paid for the time you put in. You don't pay me for the time I put in now. You pay me for all the years that made me able to do it in these couple minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Similar to the Chinese bamboo tree.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
100%, man. You know, one of my favorite quotes is Christopher Derrick. It only takes 10 minutes to take away 7 years of pain. And for you, bro, it took 5 minutes to take away 3 years of pain. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
When I used to listen to that, I used to sit there and I think, but now I feel it, Chris. I feel it, bro. I feel it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Literally, listen, Chris, we appreciate you for jumping on, taking time out of your day, being very transparent and honest about your family life, emotional life, trading, your businesses, everything like that. They'll large you up, guys. Large you up for real. Guys, listen, make sure to go follow Chris. He's doing really, really great things. He comes from a very, very, same background that everyone comes from, including ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And now, literally, not to put his business out there, but, he's a 5-figure monthly earner, which is sick to say. And we know 6 figures is coming.
Tax man's listening, bro. Come on, man.
100%, man. So listen, Chris, we appreciate you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment and follow us all. All our stuff will be in the description down below. Appreciate you guys. We're out. Gang.
Gang.